Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga by the Pool. We're in the month of June 2023. We're focusing a little bit on posture and nice alignment of the spine. So let's bring that into our awareness today as we practice. We're going to be co-teaching today with a good friend of mine, Melissa Borman, and I'll let her introduce herself for you.
Okay. Good morning and welcome. And thank you so much, Lisa, for having me. I really appreciate this. It's such a wonderful opportunity for me. I've been on the other side of this computer, this setup, many, many times in the backyard, and it's so lovely to be here on this side with you all today. So thank you. I have been studying yoga, practicing yoga for over 20 years now, and recently, I think really because of everything that was happening during COVID and just really thinking about my life and what was valuable to me, I started a yoga teacher training program, very much encouraged by Lisa. In fact, I think she practically made me do it. Um, and I'm so grateful because I had a wonderful experience. And so this is my first time teaching online, and I'm very excited about that. So let's start seated today. Um, we, I want to start thinking about the the Muladhara Bandha, which is the root bandha. The ancient yogis believe that we have 7 chakras that move up our spine, and the Muladhara Bandha resides what would be very near the bottom of our spine, the first 3 vertebrae of our. Oh, okay. Um, and so the ancient yogis believe that at the root of our spine was the idea of this sort of center of uh, of power that was always um, coiled up like a coiled up snake. And if there was any sort of blockage in that Muladhara Bandha, that chakra, that root chakra, then we didn't have access to the power of that being uncoiled, right? So that's about our prana and our life force moving up through our spine. So ways of clearing any blockages are allowing that prana to move up and have that power of that coil, is to focus on that lower back and keeping that flexible, which Lisa can tell you is very important for our overall health. So let's just start with some thinking about those first 3 vertebrae and moving into some pelvic tilts where we're moving our pelvis forward and backwards, forward, just a little arch. This is a very subtle, gentle movement. Tilting our pelvis forward, keeping our sit bones even on the ground. We're rooted through that root chakra. And we'll move into some gentle circles one side. Again, we're keeping those sit bones rooted. You want to link these movements with the breath. Breathing in as you come up. Exhale as you come down. Fold forward. Come back to center. And let's go the other way now. This is always a nice stretch for the hips, too. And coming back to center. Do seated cat-cow. As we exhale around, again, keeping that tailbone grounded, the sit bones even. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. exhale. Inhale, and we'll come back to neutral. Now I invite you, if it's comfortable, to switch the cross of your legs to the side that you're not, to the way that you're not used to. I automatically go one way, and I don't know why. Lisa might have an answer as to why we do this. And let's do some side stretches. So we're going to place one hand down and then stretch. Again, keeping those sit bones grounded. We're not tilting. And then the other side. And one more each side. You can look out to the side. You want to remember that your neck is part of your spine. Keep it in line with your spine. And come back to center. And we'll fold forward over, reaching over our belly, over our feet. And do a little cat here. So we exhale. And again, you want to think about that tailbone. You're stretching it back as you're stretching your hands forward. Shifting to my right, your left. And placing the right hand over the left. Back to center. And the other side. Back to center. And we'll move to tabletop. Neutral spine, we're always stacking our joints. So wrists under shoulders, knees are under hips, and we'll move to cat-cow here. So on an inhale, cow, exhale, arching like a Halloween cat. Inhale. Exhale. Thinking about that root chakra. How is it being activated now? On your next exhale, after your next cat, come to neutral spine, and we'll move into a flow of thread the needle. Starting with the right hand high, thread through, and just gently placing the head or the shoulder on the mat, and then a big inhale back up. Exhale, thread through. Inhale, up. Exhale through, and this time we'll stay here for a few minutes or a few breaths, resting the back of your head or your shoulder on the mat, being aware of your neck. A variation could be to move your hand behind your back in a partial twist. You could interlace your fingers and give a little extra pull to the bottom arm for an extra stretch if that's comfortable. Breathing. Placing your left hand down and coming back into one final reaching high into the sky. And return to neutral. And we'll do that on the other side. Left hand high, thread through. High on an inhale, thread through on your exhale. High on an inhale, And we'll stay here for a few breaths as we exhale and thread through any variation that feels good for your body today. For an extra stretch or extra relaxing. Just your right hand back under your shoulder. One more big stretch, high up, reach up, and back to neutral. Now, we'll straighten our right leg behind us, toes tucked under. And then pick up your foot and move it over your other foot. So it's on the other side of the mat and you're looking back at it. So you're doing a big stretch on the side of your body. Trying to keep your pelvis centered as much as you can. You're stretching the side of your body. On an inhale, go back to neutral, and we'll do the other side. Stretching those toes as you tuck them under, lifting it to the side of the mat, and then it's accessible. Turn your head and your body to look at that back foot. Back to neutral. And we'll move into our first downward dog of the day. And remember that this is your practice. This is your downward dog. Sometimes this is hard on shoulders for folks. And if that's the case, you can always do dolphin, where you're coming down to your forearms and lifting your hips back. So again, you want to make sure that your back is straight and you're lifting that root chakra, that tailbone high into the air. If you need to bend your knees a little, that's fine. Anything that you need to do to make sure that your back is straight and you're grounding down through all the knuckles of your hands, lifting that tailbone, waking up that coiled up snake. And we're just going to flow back and forth from plank, warming up our shoulders, back to downward dog. High plank. If this isn't comfortable, again, you can always come down to your knees. And on our next exhale, let's bring our feet and our hands together, keeping folded. You want to heel toe your feet almost to the width of your mat with your heels in a little bit. And we're going to do ragdoll. Hang your head, your shoulders, grab opposite elbows gently. Bend your knees as much as you need to let your belly come between your legs and rest on your thighs. Gently lengthen. Your head is heavy. Your shoulders are heavy. Yep. Your head is heavy. Shoulders are heavy. That tailbone is going towards the sky. Think of something that you've been carrying around with you that you don't need and let it just roll off your back. On your next inhale, gently roll up one vertebrae at a time. All the power is coming from that tailbone as you slowly move up. Your head comes up last and roll those shoulders back. Big breath in, arms overhead. And we'll go to Samasthiti, hands to heart center, feet together. And I'll let Lisa take it from here. You're welcome. My pleasure.
Oh, hopefully the body feels so wonderful now that we've had a nice warm up of the spine through all directions. So let's come now to the top of our mat, back to that Shamastitihi, which means balanced tension from the front of our body to the back, from the side to the side. We'll inhale, sweep the arms out and up, extend through the fingertips. Exhale and sit into chair pose. And with our chair, the arms can drop low or hands even into the heart to protect the shoulders from any strain. We feel the strength and power in our legs. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, reach up, extend. Exhale, chair. Pause and linger there, feeling the core engage, the shoulders are down your back. And one more. Inhale, reach. And exhale to your chair. Utkatasana, powerful pose. Bring the palms to the heart center. And we'll take the right foot and step back into flight of the bird. We open up our arms and extend. This is our high crescent lunge. And then we'll close back into chair pose. The palms can connect. The left foot steps back, expand the heart, pull the shoulder blades together. And come in. Let's alternate sides at your own pace. And if you're struggling for balance, set your back heel down on the floor and take warrior one. Rather than your high crescent lunge, it's going to give you a little bit more stability. And our goal is to open the heart here. We're working on posture this month. So we're expanding those tight muscles of the chest and we're strengthening the muscles of the back and working our balance and stability. Let's take one more on each side. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. And the left side. Returning to our chair pose, hold and breathe. On your next inhale, step back again to that high crescent lunge with the right foot or your warrior one. And we'll press the palms at the heart, keeping the pelvis squared forward. Just start to twist a little bit to your left side. Looking over your left shoulder. And come to the center, step into chair pose. As you open your arms, step back left foot, expand. Close the palms. Slow rotation to your right side. How does that affect your balance? Back to chair. We'll do one more on each side. Inhale, flight of the bird, open. Exhale, press palms and twist. Come back to our chair. Knees are bent any amount. Open out, left foot steps back. Press palms and we twist. Come back to center and back to your chair one final time. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive into your forward fold. We'll take a really big step back with your right foot. Option to drop your right knee down if you'd like. An option to use a block under your right hand if you need a little lift. We'll twist open to the left, reaching the left fingertips high, or even placing your hand at your hip or wrapping your arm behind your back, like maybe we did in that thread the needle. Take your gaze up to the sky, 3 breaths. And if your back leg is straight and the knee lifted, let's really squeeze the muscles of the thighs and the glutes. One more breath in. And our exhale brings the left hand down to the floor. We step the back foot forward into forward bend. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lengthen down, soften those knees any amount, and take a generous step back with your left foot. Really reach it back behind. Option to drop your left knee down or use your block underneath your left hand. And let's unfold like the petal of a new flower. And we're really rotating the right rib cage back, the left rib cage forward. And we're finding power in the back leg, squeezing the glute and the quad. One more breath. Exhale the right hand down. Step the back foot back forward into your forward bend. Inhale, we'll rise. Exhale, swan dive back into that forward fold. Take the right foot back as far as you can reach it so we can open up that hip flexor. Now you can repeat the twist open here with your right hand on the floor, or we can press the palms for a little bit more balance challenge and drag that right elbow across the left thigh for a twisting prayer lunge. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, center, step the back foot forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dive down. Left foot reaches way back behind you. Option to drop your knee. We can use our block and twist or press palms and rotate the left elbow across the right thigh. Really challenging for our balance this morning. One more breath. Exhale, come back to center. Step that back foot in. Let's do one more set on each side. Inhale. Maybe a baby back bend this time. Exhale, dive down. Right foot steps back, long. Choose your twist. Maybe using your block or pressing palms for your twisting prayer lunge. See if you can rotate just a little bit farther. Explore your edge here with rotation. And then lower down. Back foot steps in. Inhale, rise one last time. Exhale, swan dive. Reaching the left foot way back. Choosing the twist that suits your body. And a new transition will lower that hand down and press yourself back to child's pose. We can take our knees wide, drop our belly through the center, let the forehead relax down, really get a nice stretch. Or we can bring the hands next to the sides of the body, palms up. And this is our Balasana pose. We can recover here and restore and bring our awareness back to the breath and the internal workings of our practice from head to toe. One more breath in child's pose. And then we'll rise up, placing the hands on the mat, centering up the knees. We'll prepare for side plank, Vashisthasana on the right side. So our right knee comes forward a little bit. We'll kick our ankle out to the right side of our mat and center our right hand underneath the shoulder. Rotate your hips open toward the left. And we can start with this vision of the pose, and you can grow it any way you'd like. So ways are maybe to lift this top leg up, or we can pick the bottom foot up off the floor and bring it to cross the front of the left ankle. And we'll stay here for 3 breaths. Use your core to lift up off of that wrist. You can come down to your elbow if you'd like to. One more breath in. Exhale and come back to that hands and knees, neutral tabletop position. If you need a little cat-cow or some shoulder rolls, take your time to set up the other side. Our left knee slightly comes forward. The ankle shifts off on a diagonal. We center up the left hand and open out into our left side plank. And then we discover what we'd like to do on this side. It might be different. This could be a stronger shoulder, a weaker shoulder. So explore for your opportunities on this side. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to hands and knees. Again, if you need a child's pose or a cat-cow, take that there. Then we'll tuck our toes and come back into our downward dog again. So we've been here before. Maybe we can lengthen the legs a little bit more. Pressing back off the hands a little bit more. And then we'll bend our knees a little bit and take a step forward with your right foot, flattening your left foot down for warrior one. So we'll come up to our nice warrior one, extending through the fingertips. And warrior one doesn't have to be a long stance, more of a shorter stance front to back. And then coming into chest expansion, any way that feels good for you. So we can bring our hands to our hips and draw our elbows back. We can grab our yoga block or strap and hold it behind our body. We can interlace our hands, really roll those shoulder blades together and lift the arms up. So many options with our chest expansion. So search the one that feels best for your body. Another option is to make a little reverse Anjali Mudra behind our backs. We have the palms touching and the pinky fingers sliding up the lumbar spine. So from this pose, we'll prepare for a pyramid. So the front leg straightens, we make sure our hips are squared, and we slowly start to hinge from the hips. So our goal is not to collapse our shoulders forward and round our back. Now you might need to have some support here, so your hands can be on a chair in front of you. If you can come a little lower, you might be using your block to support. But if you can stay in some form of chest expansion, that's great. We'll work on that good postural stretch for the heart. Chest expansion. So we'll take 3 more breaths, and on each inhale, try to lengthen your spine a little more. And each exhalation, sink a small amount more into the pose. Breathe in. Exhale, sink. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, find your comfortable depth. Stay there one more breath. Now before we rise up, put a tiny bend in your front knee and push your foot down into the floor as we come back to our warrior one. Take your arms out into W arms or goal post, and we'll wrap the right arm on top of the left. And you can give yourself a hug, or you can just pull that right arm across your body, or you can bring this into eagle arms. And just pause for a moment and find a stretch that really works good for you for the back of the shoulders, the upper back, maybe the back of the neck. And we'll keep the front knee bent and bow into a humble warrior. So we're going to round the back like a cat and sink down any amount into this upper back release. Now you certainly could straighten the leg again like a pyramid, but offer yourself a little different stretch this time with a bent knee. And just explore where you're feeling that different position. Let your head relax. Breathe right between your shoulder blades. So as you inhale, expand that area. One more breath in. And your exhale allows you to return up. Unravel your arms back to your goalpost. Inhale. Exhale, reach your hands down to the mat and press back to either downward dog or maybe dropping your knees to the mat for child's pose. And we'll prepare for that sequence on the other side. So bend your knees like you're going to spring forward like a little rabbit and take a step forward with your left foot. Plant your right foot at about a 45-degree angle. Rise up into your warrior one. You can choose your arm position and we'll square those hips off forward. Then find your chest expansion. So we can be here, hands to hips, a strap behind our back, interlacing our fingers, our reverse Anjali Mudra. And we're not straining here. This is just a comfortable heart opener. Because we're here for a while. And slowly straighten out your front leg, readjust your hips to square. There's a micro bend in your front knee as you begin to slowly hinge from the hips. And this side could be a lot different. So take your time to find your edge. It's a journey in finding our edge. We don't go to that full place on the first breath. If you need a chair to support or block, have that available. And we'll take 3 breaths, and on the inhale, try to lengthen your spine a little more. Activate those muscles. Exhale and sink a tiny bit deeper. 2 more breaths. And when you're sinking deeper, you might not even be able to physically see you go lower. This is more of deepening the relaxation of the pose. 1 more breath. And then sink down, holding, noticing what you're feeling in your body. 1 more breath here. Then before you rise, put a little bend in your front knee and push down into the earth to come up. Back to our goalpost arms, pull the shoulder blades back. And we'll cross the left arm on top of the right. We can hug, we can pull the left arm across, or we can wrap into our eagle. And there's no rush to come down with this. I want you to find a good stretch. So you might tip your head a little bit from side to side, or drop your chin, or press your shoulder blades down, or lift your elbows up, or move your hands out away from your face. Just discover a nice release for you. And you can even stay upright if you'd prefer. Otherwise, let's curve our back like that Halloween cat, scooping the abdominals in and lower down. Now, you might be able to see your right foot behind you. Check it out and make sure you're not collapsing into your arch. So keep the arch lifted by pressing into the outside blade of your foot, but the ball mound of your big toe is still connected. Back leg is straight. Settle those shoulder blades apart. The head is heavy. 1 more breath in. Your exhale propels your body to rise. Unravel the arms and we open. And press the palms at your heart. So we'll be turning long ways on the mat. So whichever way you need to turn to bring yourself into a wide leg position. Toes are turned out just a little bit. And we'll inhale to reach. Exhale, soften the knees just slightly and swan dive down into a wide leg forward fold. You can use hands on top of a chair if you need, or your block at any height, low, high, or medium. And let's just let everything go. I love to do a light downward dog stretch so I can actually bring my fingers out, and I don't really have any weight on my hands, but doing a nice stretch for the lats here, that's a nice option. Crossing your elbows like our previous rag doll is a nice option. We can reach out, taking hold of the ankles and kind of pull our body down in, just gently, without any force. And perhaps after a couple of breaths, your legs can unfold just a little bit longer. But it's okay if you keep that bend in the knees. And then we'll come to a twist here, but I want to make sure that your hand is on something. So if you can't touch the floor, then you bring your block in position or your chair. And we'll center the left hand and open to the right. And we'll do this like a thread the needle. So as you come back down, try to reach your left hand across over maybe, or right hand toward your left ankle or knee. And then we'll inhale to come back up. Exhale to reach across. And one more time, and we're looking to the right. And we're looking to the left. And let's hold this. So maybe you can grab your ankle. Maybe your hand is just slightly touching the inside of your calf. Now, as we hold this for a couple of breaths, we can take the left hand and wrap it behind the back and feed it right into that hip crease and extend the gaze to the sky. Just 2 more breaths. One more breath. As you unwind, your left hand comes down to your support. The right hand opens out one more time just to finish that sequence. Then set your right hand on your support. We'll inhale the left arm up. Now, maybe you have a shoulder issue. You don't have to actually lift your arm. You can put your hand on your chest and then lower down and reach across any amount, looking over that right shoulder. And we inhale, your hand can go behind your head and just lift your elbow up. Exhale, reach across. And one more. Reach across and we'll hold this side. Option for the right hand to wrap behind the back, or maybe just place it right on your sacrum, just to notice whether your hips are still squared. And if it bothers your neck to look up, you can keep your eye gaze down. The neck is a beautiful thing. We can turn our spine one direction and take the neck with us, or we can turn our spine one direction and bring our neck neutral, or the opposite way. One more breath. As you exhale, bring your right hand back down to your support. Inhale, open the left arm, a nice big stretch. Exhale, both hands down just for a couple more breaths and sink to your edge. And the edge, again, is a place for discovery. And the edge changes every day and every time we step onto our mat. Let's transition to a seated position, and I won't cue or guide you there. I want you to get to seated any way that works good for you today. We'll start with knees bent and sit tall. I love sitting on a blanket, especially if you have tight hips or hamstrings. Really does help keep your pelvis in neutral. And then we'll take this right foot and we'll tuck it underneath the left. And you might hold this here for your twist today with your left foot in front of the right shin. Or perhaps we can pick that foot up and take it across. So you find the position that works best for you to keep your sitting bones balanced. And we'll inhale to lift the left arm and make a big circle behind you, turning to the left and place that hand behind your body. Kind of creates a little second spine. We can use the right hand to hug the left knee into the chest, or we can lift the left or right arm up, stretch it, and place your right arm across your left thigh. We can just create a little bit of assistance here to find a deeper stretch. And then explore range of motion of your neck and the length of your spine. One more breath in. And as you exhale, we'll lift both arms up and twist the other direction. You might say, wow, this side's a lot easier. It's more of an open hip twist. The other side is closed. So we do have a little bit more freedom on this side. Let's inhale to reach the arms up again. Come to center and just exhale them down. And if you'd like to hinge forward just a little bit from your hips, explore that little stretch. And you can also come into cow face here, where we pick up the ankle on that left foot and we try to stack our knees. Be careful with this one. Make sure your body says that it's okay for this one today. And we can fold forward any amount. So there's a fine line sometimes when we're doing hip openers. We want to give our hips a little bit of love. And sometimes we carry so much tension in our hips, and not just physical tension, but our emotional tension goes there as well sometimes. So quiet your mind, listen to your body, take easy breaths, and if you need to back off on this pose or choose something different, give yourself that permission. It's okay. Inhale to rise up. Very carefully uncross that top leg. Come back to both knees bending. And it's important to realize there's no hurry to go to the other side. Sometimes we just have to settle back in and breathe and let any sensations we're feeling in our body dissipate. We can even separate our feet and maybe do a little bit of a windshield wiper from side to side just to get the blood flow and the energy flowing back easily. All right, let's try the other side. So as we start with both knees bent, we'll tuck this left leg in. And your twist can stay right here with the right foot. And we can explore to take it across. And then adjust your sitting bones. I almost have to pick myself up and then try to square off again. If you have a hip that's higher than the other, you can use your blanket to prop up actually the bottom hip, not the higher hip, and that'll help you adjust. We'll take the right arm and do a big circle sweep up and back and place it behind your body comfortably. And then we can hug this knee with the left hand, or we can lift that arm as well, up and across to create a little bit of a brace here, a little bit of an anchor. And then explore the range of motion of your neck, Keep the breath moving. Soften your gaze, relax your jaw. Let the breath move where you have room to expand. That might not be in your belly because your belly is being a little bit compromised by the right leg. As we inhale, both arms lift. You start to turn to the opposite side and find your counter twist here. Notice the freedom now to breathe into your belly. You have the room to expand like a balloon. Nothing's impeding that space. Inhale, bring the arms back up. Center your spine. Exhale, bring the arms down. And perhaps you stay like this and just shift forward a little bit. If it's not feeling comfortable, you can come into easy cross-leg pose. Or we can increase the hip opener by coming into our cow face. Stacking our knees as best as we can. Keep a little flexion in your ankles. And come forward to your depth on this side. And you know your body. So if something internally is screaming, I need to get out of this pose, how much longer are we going to be here? That probably means that you need to take an adjustment or a modification. But it's okay to feel a little bit of comfortable discomfort. I know it seems like it's not a no pain, no gain, but you need to have a little bit of comfortable discomfort when you're stretching. Just know what that is for your body today. Allow your breath to slow a little bit, especially the exhalations. And on your next inhale, we'll walk ourselves back up. Very carefully unfold the legs. Come back to bent knees. Let's go ahead and do our windshield wiper again, dropping the knees from one side to the other. And then back to center for Navasana, which is our boat pose. So you're the captain of your boat, of your ship. So you're going to design this ride any way you want. I'm going to give you levels. Level 1, just sitting up tall and slightly leaning back and holding behind your legs and breathing, feeling this core connection. We can maybe lift one foot up off the floor and see how that challenges our body. And if we're in agreement with that, then after a time we can switch. And then maybe we can bring both feet off the mat. You can still hold here. You're still firing your core. This is okay. Or your hands can be slightly behind you on the mat to support. Or we can let go and let the arms shine wherever you'd like. And maybe the legs straighten a little bit. It's a journey. And design yourself a pathway for success. Maybe by starting with level 1 and gradually adding one at a time. So wherever you're at, we'll take a twist to the right. And to the center. And to the left. And to the center. Hold here one more breath. Exhale, the legs lower. Let your knees separate into Baddha Konasana, our butterfly pose. Adjust your sitting bones so you're right up on top of them and you have your pelvis shifted forward a little bit. Your heels can be any distance from the groin area, so you don't have to just crank them and bring them all the way in. It might feel good for you today, so just find a comfortable distance. And we're going to take one more twist each direction. We can bring the left hand across the right knee, the right hand behind us, rotating. Our spine should feel nice and mobile now. And then to the other side. And back to center. To the right side, side bend. Keep that left sitting bone down on the floor. And the opposite direction. Now, a bit of a combination. We'll side bend to the right, but start to rotate a little bit and reach this left hand across the diagonal. And feel that stretch all the way down the left side of your back. And open up, side stretch to the left, and then a slight rotation. Imagine someone were pulling your hand. So you're creating a nice dynamic tension to give yourself a little bit more length and a little bit more release. Open back out, relaxing that right arm down. Then we'll fold forward any amount. Maybe for you today, this is okay just to sit straight up and just to relax here. We can take the fingertips and bring them behind our body to open up the heart and give yourself a little bit of a press forward right from the hips. And then we can take our arms out in front of us. I just want you to notice where you are right now in this moment, your comfortable edge. And then we're going to perform a PNF technique to find a little bit more range of motion. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitated work. So come back up and place your forearms to your inner thighs, and you're going to push out with your arms, but more importantly, push in with your legs. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften that contraction. Take a breath in. Push your legs into your forearms. Push, push, push. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax the tension. Third time is a charm. Breathe in and press in. Tighten those muscles. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Now explore your range of motion. And even with 3 rounds of that PNF technique, you might find a little bit more range. Let's hold here 2 more breaths. And then we'll come up and find a place that you'd like to take a little bit of quiet meditation. I'm just going to stay seated in simple cross-leg pose or easy pose. You can lay on your back. You can go legs up the wall, anything you'd like to at home. And if you're in easy pose and you feel like your body's a little bit scattered or your brain is a little scattered, place your hands right on top of your knees. This signifies grounding ourselves, solidly grounding the brain and the body. If you're more open to possibilities during this meditation, we can turn our palms up in more of a receptive mudra, Or take any hand gestures that you'd like here that signify where you are today. And we bring our awareness to the breath. And we're going to do a few rounds of a 3-part breath. And there's many ways to do 3-part breath. But for today, we'll do 2 inhales and then an exhale. So that gives us 3. The inhales will be through your nose. The exhale will be through your mouth. So place one hand on your belly. That's where the first inhale is going to come from. And the second hand on your heart. That will be the second inhale. Just exhale completely to begin. And then we'll breathe belly, chest, belly, chest, belly, chest. Continuing at your own pace. Two more.